Hey y'all, Stretch War back here again, and we're gonna be talking about failure and mistakes. Now, me personally, I've definitely made some mistakes in my life. I'm only 20 years old, uh, and I've done right, I've done wrong, done things that are morally right, things that are morally wrong, things that are moral, immoral. Um, I haven't always made the best decisions in certain areas, and I acknowledge that. I'm not afraid to acknowledge that and really admit that I'm not perfect. I'm human, but I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm just being honest. This is what I am, and this is who all of us are. We are essentially imperfect beings. We aren't individuals that are necessarily perfect in our ways. We may be striving for perfection, but that doesn't mean that we are perfect yet. And I'm not afraid to admit that just because it is definitely as well part of life. Failures and mistakes are part of life. You don't always make the best decisions. You don't always make the best decisions for others because at the end of the day, our actions impact not only ourselves, but they impact others as well. And what I've had to comprehend is that mistakes and failures, despite them being made, um, you have to comprehend and understand that they make you better. You know, without certain mistakes that I made, without certain failures that I've endured and really had occur, I really don't think I'd be the person that I am. I always say a lot of things about my life play a factor in what I am and how I am. And I've definitely said that, man, like, I've definitely said that these things ultimately, if I didn't do them, I wouldn't be who I am today because they have technically enhanced my mindset. And this also goes into the idea of regret. Sometimes we always say, oh, I don't regret doing this. I don't regret doing that. I will admit there are certain things that for sure I wish I wouldn't have did, you know, and I, to a certain extent, do regret them. But at the same time, if I wouldn't have did it, the question is, what would I be today? And that's why I really say that is the huge point that needs to be made. We have these things that we regret, but at the same time, eventually you kind of come to terms with reality. You kind of understand that, maybe I really don't regret that. Maybe I don't regret that mistake that I made because that mistake ultimately made me better. Or that failure, despite me having to maybe go back and do something else or having to repeat this or having to redo this and attempt this again, if I wouldn't have failed in that manner, who knows if I would be better at that skill? Who knows if I would be better or worse? Who knows what I would be now? And those are the type of questions that you really have to ask yourself because it takes reflection. You have to reflect over yourself. You have to reflect over the actions that you made because if you don't reflect, you're not going to get better. You're not going to get stronger. That's why I always tell you all whenever you make a mistake, whenever you have a failure, whenever you have a regret, always take the time to breathe, sit down, and simply reflect. The reason why you have to reflect is because you have to gain an understanding of yourself. The more you learn about yourself, the more efficient and effective you can be as a human being. And that's just reality. The more you learn about what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, why you're doing it, where you're doing it, the more you understand and analyze, the better you are as a human being. It's just simply that simple. I'm not even trying to, you know, uh, not even trying to sound complicated. That's really what it is. Failures, mistakes, and regrets, hardships, all these many things, the list goes on and on. They all tie back into reflection. Okay. But at the same time, what you have to comprehend is that, look, as I said, this is part of life. As I said, life is unfair. Um, what you have to understand is that mistakes and failures, they are a part of life. It's that simple. They're a part of life. You can't really do anything to just like prevent them. You're gonna do something in your lifetime, whether it's extremely minor or extremely major. You're gonna do something that's gonna make you think, and this can be something as complex as maybe you cheating on your spouse or on your partner, to you forgetting to add salt in some food. And I know it may sound comical, but it's honestly the truth because the both with both things you can see, both things are mistakes. Both things are things that you forgot to do or things that you shouldn't have done, right? Like I said, I know it's kind of strange using both of those examples, but what you actually have to connect is that they're both mistakes and they're both things you can learn from. And this is literally with every single situation that you are involved in. You know, But it's Tritzmore back here again. Hey, mistakes, failures, they are part of life. Make sure you reflect and make sure you wonder about your regrets. Tritzmore back here again. I'll see y'all later. Peace.